How's it going, guys? This is Rio Murata, photographer based in Tokyo. Nothing special. Well, it is special. But I realized this morning that I reached 1,000 subscribers. And that's actually one of those milestones and goals that I had for this year. And I don't know how long it took me. It took me roughly 3-4 years to get to this point. And not being like going super fast to 1,000 subscribers, but more like patiently working my way up that corporate ladder or something. That's the wrong way of saying it. More like taking baby steps and I guess progressing in life. I thought this would be meaningful for me and I guess for my viewers. And my parents probably never had that high expectation that I would reach 1,000 subscribers, but I reached it today. And when I actually looked later today, a new person just joined and I have 1,001 subscribers. And I forgot to take a screenshot of that moment, unfortunately. I only have 999. Man, things don't go right in my mind. But to congratulate, I'm going to be sipping beer and doing one of those Q&A moments where two people actually ask me questions. So I'm going to be answering those questions and yes, just sip beer, just chill and relax, and yeah, have my second tripod with my XT5 to get a second viewpoint for this video. So yeah, before doing it, let's just open the beer can actually. And yeah, I might go a little bit off topic, but if you're ever in Japan, there's 4 beer manufacturers that you guys probably should try, which is obviously Asahi, Kirin, Suntory, and Sapporo actually. And yeah, this one is Asahi Super Dry that they recently released, the Namajokkikan actually, which instead of a pull tab, it has a sort of like the whole lid comes off. So this is actually a distinctive sort of like patent that a Japanese manufacturer made, and that's why the second angle is there. So yeah, let me just turn on the camera and sit down and let's open this. Kanpai. Oh shit. Asahi Super Dry. Asahi Super Dry. Karakuchinama. Congratulations. 1,000 subscribers. Oh yeah. Fuck. So yeah, that's when I sort of like have a bad day actually. So I never touched the can before opening a beer actually. So so I guess I actually have a sister and she asked me how does it feel to have 1,000 subscribers. It feels awesome. But it feels really awkward because up until when you reach 1,000 subscribers, you get 3 digits like 555 or 999, and the next day it becomes 1 digit, 1, then just K, and it feels like you lost something special to you. But in reality, you have more than 999 subscribers. And I guess it's like going back to square one, and from there you have to build up your reputation, your, I guess, contents as a content creator and also an artist. And I guess it's sort of like one of those things where you have to like keep on going and just do what you love to do. One of my followers, one of the questions I had was from Atlas of Ambience. That's a nice name. So where should I buy film in Tokyo, Japan? Is it better to buy film online? and ship them to a hotel in Japan, and how long will it take to process? And wow, that's going to be a little bit long. But honestly, in my previous video, I sort of like talked about how overly expensive it is to purchase film in Japan, and I made sort of like a point that because it's like really expensive, my sort of like advice is if you have access to B&H or maybe Cinestill, just purchase it from there, have it shipped over to your sort of like area, and just bringing that over to Japan. Like I would say like 60% of 70% of your total usage, and the remaining like 30% or 40%, you could snag a couple of films along the way when you're like, I don't know, touring around the city, maybe at Champ Camera or somewhere. You could buy like 3 rolls or maybe 4 rolls along the way and basically supply from there. But I guess if you're like a Portra user or a Cinestill user, those two are actually the most expensive here in Tokyo, so I highly suggest just bringing it over and just, yeah, not panic when you see the prices being outrageous in Tokyo. So I'm not sure about what was I about? Oh my ass. So I'm not sure about like shipping to hotels technically, because I never stayed in a hotel in Tokyo. That sounds interesting actually. I'm a Japanese person living in Tokyo, stays at a Tokyo hotel for the night. I might try doing that sometime, but I never experienced that, you know, having products shipped to a hotel. I don't know how that works, but like I said, I would highly suggest just bringing it over. And I should mention this, that I'm in Amazon Prime as a subscription thing, and I don't purchase film from Amazon unfortunately, but like the online retailers, same for Yodobashi Camera and Big Camera, when you purchase electronics or any kind of stuff, I guess it's like similar to the United States, the shipping is actually taking much longer than usual. And because Tokyo specifically, the supply channel is relatively, used to be really good actually. Like they do within day shipping if you live in the 23rd wards and stuff like that. But because of the labor storage, it actually takes more than 1 or 2 days to get your product shipped, even if you have Amazon Prime. So like shipping to a hotel, I would not highly suggest doing, unless if you're staying in Japan for an extended period of time. It might be possible, but I'm not sure about that. So let's get going. And for processing film, for 35mm, like there's a lot of locations in Japan where you can basically drop your film and have it processed within a day. Notable ones is I made it on my channel, Champ Camera, Popeye Camera, Kitamura Camera, which is a famous chain store actually. They're located almost everywhere actually, but there are like not all of them do it on day processing, because some facilities, some shops don't have the film, what I call processing equipment. Just do your research before like coming, because the smaller like Kitamura shops don't do it, but the larger ones, such as the one in Shinjuku, I guess Ikebukuro, and there's like a lot of locations in the urban area of Tokyo, will do it within a day. So just research that and you won't have any problems doing that. And for medium format like film, because it's larger and not many facilities do it, like I said, Champ Camera and Popeye Camera do 120 on day if I'm right. And also I found out later after doing research that Sendagi's Yellow Jacket and also Shashin Kosha, which those two I'm trying to make a video on sometime later in the future if I don't procrastinate, on locations where they do medium format processing on day actually. So so many things to do. But yeah, those are actually where you can do on day processing in Japan, in Tokyo actually. Fan Knobs asked me, curious if you got comfortable in sharing what you got into photography. That's going to be super long actually. So okay, so not many people know, but I actually went to a university in not Tokyo, but I went to a university in Canada actually. And I'm not telling you which university unfortunately, so that's a little bit confidential. But yeah, my professor should be really shocked if they ever see my YouTube channel doing something else. And back then I actually majored in international business minor in economics, and I remember like on my third year at university, I met this guy named Tej, who he was a biochem major, but if you guys know about universities, like first year you can basically take any kind of extracurricular type of like classes, like something different from your major, and he was actually taking first year economics, which was mandatory when I was in first year in university. And I guess somehow I met him, and on the second or third year I remember him carrying a Nikon D90, and back then I only shot with a point and shoot Nikon Coolpix S80 100 90 100. I forgot which one it was, but right now it's like really expensive due to like digital cameras making a comeback. Went off topic, but because he had a Nikon D90, I never knew about DSLRs or SLRs. That kind of changed my life, the way I viewed things, and I thought going into that field would be really interesting, actually, more enticing. So I kind of ended up dropping out of university, and because I was like doing statistics and was writing graphs and stuff like that, and I thought, am I going to be doing this for the rest of my career? And I said no, maybe. So I actually went back to Japan in Tokyo, and instead I went to a photography school, which was MPI. I'm still trying to make a video on that sometime. I'm procrastinating so much, but photography school based in Shibuya, actually, and I actually majored in commercial photography back then, and I did not take any sort of like what I call darkroom classes, processing films and stuff like that, because I thought digital was the way to go. And after graduating from photography school, I went to the second largest advertising agency in Japan, which I won't say the name because a lot of Japanese people know about it. It's called HP. The code name is HP, actually. But I was an assistant for 3 years, actually. And if you guys know about assisting photographers in Japan specifically, the dark history or dark lessons that you guys probably should know is that if you're an assistant in Japan, specifically in advertising agency, you will 100% work until 4 a.m. every day. And you have to like work from 9 o'clock a.m. to 4 o'clock in the morning, actually. So that's basically the dark nature of being an assistant photographer in Japan. But that continued for like 3 years or so, and I realized that the people who remained as an assistant remained as an assistant, and people who wanted to become photographers basically quit their jobs and went to a different sort of area, different companies like that. And I started to look around, what's the sort of like the opposite end of what I call advertising photography, kind of commercial photography, actually, and I realized that that would be sort of like internet related ads and what I call web related sort of like photography. And so I went into that field, actually, and right now I work as an e-commerce photographer at sort of like a apparel company, actually, that sort of like imports from Italy. I basically do those types of sort of like photography work, actually, more like e-commerce type of still shots, no like fashion model related, unfortunately. But along with that, like 3 years ago, and I did that, I'm actually doing that job until now, actually. And 3 years ago, that, we all know the pandemic started, and in Japan specifically, the Tokyo metropolitan government, that's hard to say, kind of pressured the what I call the public companies to not go to work, and they sort of like, I think, limited that if your company can do remote work, just do remote work. If you can't do it, you can only like operate like 2-3 days per week, if I'm right. And in my case, 2-3 days I had to like go to work, so ride the train and stuff like that. So that got me thinking. So out of the whole week, 7 days, I went to work 2-3 days, and the remaining 4 days I was like thinking about my life. What the heck am I gonna do with my life, if this pandemic continues for the next 5 years or so? And that's actually sort of like a turning point when I first saw William Verbeck's video on shooting and chilling with film. And also, you guys probably know Grainy Days, matte day. I forgot the white called the Elite Four. If I'm right, William Verbeck, Grainy Days, Matte Day, and the name's not coming. I'll stick it right here. But yeah, those four basically who shot with medium format film kind of got me sort of like bombarded in the world of film photography, because I had so much time on my hand that I thought, why not just start shooting with film and to have a peace of mind kind of. And that's actually sort of like the starting point in my channel actually, and that's actually where I started to shoot with a Nikon FM10, but eventually broke down on me, and I went and tried to look for a medium format camera. I initially went towards the Pentax 6.7, but when I went to the camera shop at Shashinki Shop Kitamura in downtown Shinjuku, must go location if you're trying to purchase a medium format camera and also a film camera, they had the GW690 right beside it, and then instead of getting the Pentax 6.7, I went with a GW690. So that's sort of like the beginning story of my photography career as an artist and also a content creator. So hopefully that clarified a lot of people's sort of like question actually. So yeah, and this Tej type of guy is actually coming to Japan actually, so I'm gonna meet up with him. And unfortunately to say on my channel that he's not a photographer, he's, like I said, he was a biochem major, and he lives in Toronto right now, and he's a doctor right now. I don't know what he's doing right now, but I can't give you guys the personal information. So yeah, a Canadian friend of mine. So so he also, unfortunately, unrelated to photography, he's also my friend who sort of pushed me to making my own desktop computer. And I could talk like all day long about desktop computers, but he kind of asked me a question regarding my current setup for editing photos and editing videos. To make this video, this area section short, I sort of like put a list right here of what my current setup is of my computer as of 2023. I did a little major upgrade actually from the processors. I went from the 11400 Intel 11400 to the 13500 i5 actually, because I'm making more videos and I want to sort of like eliminate that waiting time when I'm rendering videos and stuff like that. That actually takes longer than I anticipated, and I thought it would be nice to sort of like invest in a better computer or processor. Graphics card is 1660 Super. If you buy anything above that, in my mind, like, it's overkill for photography and also video. Well, video, you might need something better than that, but that's the most cost efficient in my opinion. For the motherboard is ASRock's B760 RSD4, if I'm right. And one of the reasons why I did this upgrade is that my previous setup used sort of like a standardized like connection method of PCIe 3.0, and right now it's like PCIe 4.0, 5.0 in some cases. And the benefits of upgrading from 3.0 to 4.0 is that you get faster transfer rate of your SSDs. And right now, as of 2023, like if you're doing a lot of more like video editing, actually, this actually affects a lot of people, but the transfer rate, you can go up to like 7 gigabytes per second if you upgrade to the PCIe 4.0 and purchase a dedicated SSD for it. So, which roughly costs like $100 or so, but I don't have that much money right now, so I went with a sort of like a budget option, which is probably like half that. And I basically use an SSD that goes roughly 3 to 4 gigabytes transfer per second within my system. So I can basically, I can dump all my SD card data to my computer, edit from there, and sort of export it if I want. And sort of like increase my workflow by like 2-3 times than my previous setup. So that's actually one of the reasons I upgraded. That's good to hear actually. And along with that, one of my Japanese friends asked me, am I going to be purchasing any film cameras for this year? And right now, I have none right now, but that would be a lie, unfortunately, because I purchased one. So Like there was actually a one point and shoot that, not point and shoot, but more like a non-disposable point and shoot, sort of like a Kodak XTR series H35 type of camera, not a half camera, but more like a L4 Sprite type of camera where you can basically just change the film cartilage and just snap away. I actually purchased a Redo 35mm, which it hasn't arrived right now, so I can't make a video, but hoping to make a video on that topic. And for medium format, I haven't thought of purchasing a new camera because my dry cabinet's like full right now with digital cameras and phone cameras. So I'm going to be sticking with the GW690 as always. Backup Mamiya 645 1000S. I was sort of like in a way contemplating on sort of like switching the Mamiya 645 1000S for the Mamiya Super, which I was able to see someone selling for roughly $400 or $500, sort of like an exchange kind of, but I haven't had the time to do so. And there's like so many things I want to do with my channel, like make a lot of videos. What's my future plans? That's going to be long too, but obviously making more videos related to like film camera shops, that's one. Two is I'm trying to travel more, so more travel videos and visiting camera shops again. And also, like I said, going to these processing labs that do it for you, on day. There's, like I said, there's like 2 locations I want to go pretty bad, which is the Sandisk's Yellow Jacket and also the Shishinkosha, which also do 1 day sort of processing, including monochrome. So yeah, and also shooting within Tokyo and shooting outside Tokyo. There's like so many things I want to do, but a little tame. And also I had to balance my work, private, and work. I'm trying to balance my work, I'm trying to balance my life, work, and private. And I'm losing my words actually. So yeah, trying to balance everything all at once is pretty hard, and also sort of like making YouTube videos along the way. So so yeah, I actually did a poll on my channel actually. If Fujifilm releases a film camera, what would you guys want? And obviously, I guess the people who watch my YouTube channel are either interested in the GW690 or you guys already have the GW690. And 42% of you guys said a rangefinder medium format GW690 Mark IV. So there's a demand for that camera. And I saw in the news that Pentax is working on a film camera, and this is like the interesting part, because when I was looking at this poll, I said like the the options was like a GW690 Mark IV, also something similar to the X-Pan, and also a 35mm point and shoot like the DL series, or the 35mm SLR ST series. And out of those like options, the worst like option, or the worst, I guess, people who chose that one was the 35mm SLR. And probably a lot of people already know, and probably Fujifilm knows this too, but Fujifilm sucks at SLRs because due to the fact that Nikon, Canon, and Pentax and many other companies already sort of like made the best SLRs in history, we know that Fujifilm just sucks at doing that. So if Fujifilm would make sort of like a film camera, it has to be 100% a rangefinder. And I'm hoping, like, unfortunately, you guys probably know the GFX 50R is discontinued. I'm hoping that they will make a GFX 50R Mark II. And if they do have the opportunity, I wish they make some kind of a medium format camera similar to, like I said, the GW690 Mark IV, because that's what a lot of people want. And if I have more subscribers, or if I can leverage that, I could sort of like pressure Fujifilm to please make a medium format camera similar to the GW690. Probably something like an interchangeable system that's medium format and also serviceable, because that's like one of the problems that we have with film cameras. It's hard to service those cameras because there's not many parts, there's not many people who can do it. And if Fujifilm can sort of like offer sort of like a medium format film camera within the $1,000 to $2,000 price range, half the price of the Mamiya 7 right now actually. I'm guessing that a lot of like people would like shift towards that system because it's not the poor man's like Leica anymore, because it's serviceable, it's interchangeable, and it's more durable. And I mean, you can do so many possibilities with a newer camera because we have the technology to do it, we have the computers to do the calculations of the lens, architects and stuff like that, instead of doing it handwritten back in the days. So I wish they make sort of like a medium format camera of the GW series again, Mark IV. And also, I have to admit that when I was doing this poll, like 20% of you guys said the X pan. And if they, similar to what they did with the X, because I shoot with digital and I shoot with Fujifilm, I understand they're sort of like marketing, sort of like maneuver and trying to like counter the full frame digital, because Fujifilm's like really smart in doing just APS-C and then medium format digital, because if they go into full frame, they know that they're gonna get pounded, that sounds wrong, but they get obliterated by Nikon, Sony, and Canon. I mean, there's like already 3 manufacturers making full frame sensors, but how many manufacturers are actually going full force into the APS-C market? And that's what Fujifilm is doing. They only make APS-C, they're king of the hills in that arena. And if you have any problems with that system, just purchase the GFX. So it just makes sense. So, and like I said, for the film, on the other hand, if they make a medium format like camera, there's no sort of like rivals, because no manufacturer can make a medium format film cameras as of 2023. So they do have like 100% chance of winning if they actually go into that field too. And the X-Pan actually, because they're like the only manufacturers that can still make or have the sort of like the technology to not purchase, but like create the X-Pan again if they wanted to. And we all know Hasselblad's actually owned by DJI, so DJI is a Chinese company that makes drones, but they're not interested in making film cameras, unfortunately, and similar to Hasselblad. So if Fujifilm makes those two cameras, the X-Pan and the GW690 Mark IV, they're gonna obliterate the sort of like a medium format in the 35, like sort of like arena actually. And it's kind of unfortunate, because I'm coming from the digital field, it's kind of unfortunate to say that Fujifilm's like cutting off the what I call the entry-level cameras for their digital. If you guys probably know, their cheapest digital camera in the X lineup is the XS20 actually, which costs $1,500. And you guys probably know, if you're in the X sort of like X mount X series of cameras, like they had the XT30, they had the XT20, XT10, they had the XE4 and the X Pro series and stuff like that, but those cameras are now discontinued, so they don't have an true entry-level camera under the 1,000 price range, which is like sad to see, but that's basically their way of sort of like trying to maximize their profits, because the profits come from the higher end stuff, and we all know business does really well if you sell towards the higher end of professional type of cameras. And unfortunately, film stocks that I want to sort of like try right now, I really want to try the Lomochrome 92, but I can't find sort of like a distributor or like a shop that sells that film stock, so I might have to like purchase that film stock from their online web store, but I have to purchase more than $100 in order to get a free shipping. So I'm basically sort of like balancing like which film stock from Lomography I'm going to purchase, and hopefully make a video on that. Still contemplating between the 35mm Lomochrome 92 and the medium format. And the medium format version actually came out, which I forgot to mention in my previous video. They initially started out selling the 35mm version of a Lomochrome for 1,500 yen. And the medium format, which shocked me, was actually cheaper than the 35mm counterparts. It was roughly 1,200 yen cheaper, so I could purchase the Lomochrome 92 medium format for 1,300 yen, 1,400 yen. So if I do the calculations of multiplying that by 5, it sits in between Kodak Gold price and the Portra series actually, but it's actually really close to the Kodak Gold price. because when I purchased Kodak Gold from B&H, it costs $44. If it's on sale, it's like $41. But because of shipping, it becomes like $65 or so, somewhere around there. No, $50 to $60 somewhere. And Lomochrome series, the Lomochrome 92 medium format costs 6,000 yen, 7,000 yen. So it's like $65 roughly or so. So it's really close in terms of price with the Kodak Gold in Japan. So that might be another option to think about, but I haven't like shot with it, so I can't say much. I'm trying to make a video on that. But yeah, I had to spend $100, so what's expensive? What am I supposed to purchase? Diana or something? Diana medium format. Probably no one's gonna watch that video, so that's gonna be wasting my money. So and it also costs a lot. It's like $100-$200. I would stick with the Lomo Hoga actually. Oh no, less beer now. So, digital related news or something. I started to hear about the Sandisk problem that's arising. That so many people are having trouble with the Sandisk external drives, and as a professional, because my computers is something that my company actually provides me, a desktop computer, I don't use sort of like external SSDs because I don't do remote work or I don't do any sort of like location shoots and stuff like that. But I hear so many people from, not in Japan, but more like in the North America region, that the SanDisk Extreme Pro SSDs, they go from like 1 terabyte to 4 terabytes, are failing pretty at a high rate. And it sounds similar to the LaCie problems that we had like 5-10 years ago. And if you guys have been in that industry, I guess it's like really similar. Like back in when people backed up using a hard drive, the LaCie once was king of the hills, but they were like terrible drives, similar to how Seagate's hard drives used to be really crappy, but now they improved. So I think something similar is happening to that in the SanDisk sort of like area in terms of SSDs. And I guess because of that, and also I have to mention that I think I said it in one of the videos that I lost data from my SanDisk SD cards, and that's actually one of the reasons that I'm actually starting to migrate away from SanDisk, because I guess because they're like totally mass producing those drives and also SD cards, the price is actually going really downhill. But on the other hand, they're probably not doing rigorous testing as they used to. So that's actually one of the reasons why there's so many, I guess, errors that happen when using SanDisk drives and also SD cards. And because of that, and because a lot of professionals are starting to realize that there's a lot of problems with SanDisk SD cards in general, I guess that led to two manufacturers popping out actually in the open, the digital field, and that is ProGrade Digital from North America, and from Japan, Next Storage is actually coming by storm until recently. And those two manufacturers actually do much more rigorous testings in terms of durability testings and read and write for an extended period of time. So I guess that's actually one of the reasons why ProGrade Digital is actually king of the hills in terms of professional use. And also in Japan, that Next Storage, ProGrade Digital was actually made by former SanDisk employees, if I'm right, engineers. And Next Storage is actually made by former Sony engineers that were in that SD, like, I guess, production actually. So if I have the time, I'm gonna try testing them out and see if it is worth it or not for the price, So yeah, went a little bit off topic. So yeah, that's basically my sort of like video on reaching 1,000 subscribers, answering questions. And yeah, you basically saw an old man just drink beer. But I hope you guys found it entertaining. I mean, it's sort of like unfortunate to say because the GW690 does not have any, accessories, like camera related accessories, such as the Pentax is having there. You guys have the hand grip, you guys have the pentaprisms. There's like a bunch of accessories to talk about the Pentax 67. While the GW690, it's an all-in-one solution. So there's no hand grip, there's no sort of like additional lenses, there's no like, things to change or alter with that system. It's just all in one solution and you're kind of stuck with it. So that's why I'm basically making like contents related to equipment and stuff like that, and maybe like shooting with that camera. So hoping to bring that camera once again on a trip, working on it. So yeah, hope you guys find this video entertaining. If you have any questions that you forgot to like question me, I'm happy to reply. So yeah, we will see you next time. Peace out.